Here we go. Forgot to unmute my mic. That's the one thing you always want to never forget to unmute your mic. So here at the studios here in San Francisco, Professor B, well, Niners. That's the one thing you always want to never forget to unmute your mic. So here at the studios here in San Francisco, Niners. That's the one thing you always want to never forget to unmute your mic. So here at the studios here in San Francisco. Here we go. All right. Here we go. All right. So here on Niners Radio 49. Sorry for the technical delays. A little bit of feedback. So here at the studios in San Francisco, Niners coming off at another disaster by a score of 35-10 on last night on Sunday Night Football. You saw the game on NBC. It was real ugly, and not only that, uh, the Niners getting more bad news, and not only that, it's been all bad. So we have a lot to break down, give you the injury update, and then also what's going on with the a lot's going on. So we're going to we are going to start it off with the injury update. Of course, today, in case you missed it, 49ers have placed. They're going to place both not only Christian McCaffrey but Jordan Macy. Both are going on IR. Looks like their seasons are done. McCaffrey left the game in the second quarter with that knee injury, turned to be a PCL sprain. Usually that's a 6 week injury to heal. Then for Jordan Mason, a high ankle sprain, so his season most likely is done. And then nothing more was compounded early in the day. Also, in case you missed it, Trent Williams, offensive lineman who did not play last night, missed the game. His losing one of his losing a child, one of the twins born passed away. Second time, and I think in about a month, the Niners have lost. Of course, Charvarius Ward lost his one soon to be, would be soon to be 2-year-old daughter, and nothing could come more worse at the time. And like I said, our thoughts on behalf of Niners Radio 49, the 49ers, and the NFL, and the faithful Niner Empire, we send our condolences to to Williams and his family going through very tough time, very difficult time. Just the it's just the injuries that's continuing to compound this team, and just this is kind of another lost season for San Francisco. Similar shades 4 years ago around this time when the 49ers were so decimated by injuries, and then with the COVID situation, they had to relocate to play the rest of their home games down in Arizona. So this was just more compounded, and it's just you know just a sad, tough time for 49 fans. They've now lost three in a row. They're now 2 games out of first place. They're going to most likely have to win out to win the NFC West. They cannot be a wild card because the wild card is going to have all three of the four teams in the NFC North. Many consider the best division in football is going to, and plus the Niners lose all tiebreakers to both the Packers and the Vikings, and whoever the Niners did not play on their schedule because of the second tiebreaker record within conference, and divisional record as well. So all tiebreakers are against San Francisco up to this point. So now on this segment, we're going to start it off with Kyle Shanahan's Monday press conference. a conference call. The audio footage courtesy from our friends at 49ers Web Zone. We'll have that. Then in our Niners Radio 49 flashback, we continue this series. We're going to honor the 1984 San Francisco 49ers, their 40th anniversary of their Super Bowl championship team. The Niners to be taking on the Atlanta Falcons. They're of course, they're the NFC West champs for the third time in 4 years. As they trying to sew up the top seed, clinch the best record of the NFC. A win over the Falcons, they will clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And then we'll talk about that game and week number 14 in the NFL scoreboard. We also it was a big day and one of the marquee games we're going to talk about in that segment as well. Week 14, exactly 40 years ago today on December 2nd, 1984. It was a wild shootout down at the Orange Bowl. The Raiders and Dolphins, a rivalry renewed. Shula versus Flores. We'll talk about that game, and then we'll even before that and then when our final segment we'll talk about the season with the 49ers are going through a very difficult year. Injuries, 2 players have lost kids, death unexpected, and puts the things into perspective. But without further ado, we're gonna it'll be Kyle Shanahan's Monday presser. He's doing the conference call early in the day, the state of the team. You are listening to 49ers Live, Monday Night Live here, known as the Aftermath on Niners Radio 49. Here's Kyle Shanahan's presser, and which begins right now.
All right, guys. Injuries from the game. Kevin Givens did have a torn pec. Going to IR. Christian McCaffrey was a PCL. Shouldn't need surgery, but still about a 6-week recovery, so he'll be going to IR also. And the surprise one from the game was J.P. Mason. Ended up having a high ankle sprain, so he's going to have to go to IR most likely also. And that's it from the game. Go ahead.
Kyle, do you have any updates on? Go ahead, Eric.
Guys, what is the plan at running back? Obviously, you have Garendo, but will you have to be adding some people in that position?
Yeah, we have Garendo. Obviously, he'll be up. We got Patrick here, who's on our practice squad, who will definitely be bumped up now. Who was on our roster earlier in the year before Christian came back, and we'll most likely have to look for another.
Kyle, do you have any updates on the other guys who were injured before the game? Nick, Trent?
Yeah, I'll hit them all here. Banks is still in the protocol. Elliott's still in the protocol. Flanagan fouls with his knee. He'll be day-to-day this week. Demo with his knee. We're expecting to get back to practice on Wednesday. Nick, same thing. We'll have to evaluate. Him and Trent are kind of in the same boat. We're going to have to evaluate as the week goes. And then the IR guys, Greenlaw will continue to practice, and Huff, we plan on opening up his practice window here on Wednesday.
As far as Talanoa goes, would he have to play with some sort of device or cast or support on his wrist?
Yeah, he's going to have something on it. He's tried a few things out. I'm not exactly sure what he's going to have, but he's going to have some things on it and see how that goes this week.
Also, news came out about Trent Williams and his wife losing their children at birth. Is he going to take some time off for that as well?
He did a little bit of that last week. Something that happened that last week, and he was there at the hospital with her, and got to meet him and say bye. And then he had to cremate him on Friday, so he's been dealing with that, and he's working through it. But we're all just trying to be here for him through it all.
Kyle, what went into the decision to make Dobbs the backup to Purdy last night?
Just the type of game that we thought it could be. We had a feeling all week just looking at the forecast, and we knew it would be more of a running game, and we wanted that element added to it. We thought he could help in that way.
Kyle, as far as football goes, it seems like it's just a common theme of self-inflicted mistakes that have been going on. I don't know how you address that or how you change that. I know it's different mistakes every week. How do you actually try to make those adjustments?
Well, when it's different things, it's not really just an adjustment that you make. You got to keep coaching. You got to keep challenging guys. If a guy continues to do the same mistakes, you got to try to find a different guy to put in there. It's all of the above. So stuff we're continuing to work at. We obviously haven't gotten it done, but that's one area in particular. So we got to work on getting more turnovers. Obviously, we got to work on protecting the ball better, which came in 3 different ways. One on the goal line, one on a kick return, one on a slip ball throwing, which killed us there in the second half, similar to Green Bay. But it's not one thing in particular. So. A lot of things go into it.
Kyle, how do you process the real life issues that you've had with Trent and Mooney as a coach and as someone as someone responsible for a team, and get through that stuff with them?
That's stuff that we do every day. It's not to the extreme. You got to deal with tragedies like this. It's it's hard as a coach. It's hard as a friend. It's hard as a family member. It's hard for everybody. But we spend a lot of time with each other, and that's what's cool about a football team. Whatever you go through, the good or the bad, we go through it together. And I do like for those guys, because I do like that they have this. They have a group of guys they can go to, a group of guys that can see them every day, and you can never escape that full grief and stuff. But I do think it's nice for those guys to have another avenue to get out on the football field, to get around teammates and things like that. I thought it was a huge step by Mooney this week, just from a personal level. No one really, when something like that happens, you don't really want to jump back into anything. You got to kind of make yourself. And I was real proud of him fighting through this week. And even though it was hard, and I'm sure he didn't always want to do it, but he got through the week of practice, got through the game, and I think that was a real step for him just going forward with his life. And that's the thing everybody's got to do in those situations. But it's nice when you have a football team and stuff that you have a group of guys that you're around every day and that you're close with that can help you through it.
But it's your understanding that Trent wants to get back out there when he's healthy?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Trent's really trying to get back out here. We just got to his ankle isn't healing the way we want. We can't get the swelling down and stuff. So that's why, I'd like to say it's day to day, week to week, because we're expecting the swelling to go down and everything. It just hasn't. So we're trying to be patient with it. I know he's being patient with it, and hopefully it'll take a turn in the right direction this week. But it hasn't yet. So there's no guarantees.
Kyle, when you look at all the issues with the team and how heavy this feels, all the different issues and the injuries, how do you keep everybody focused and at a level where they can compete on the field on a Sunday?
You have to. That's the challenge. Lots of things go on in life, but everybody does have a job to do, and so you got to respect those challenges. You got to respect what people are going through, but you got to also help pull people together to do their job. And we're a team that counts on everybody, but I don't think it's much different in the business world either. People go through a lot of stuff, and but whatever their line of work is, they just have a responsibility to do. So we all understand that fully and how hard it can be on someone. And I do think in a sports atmosphere and a team atmosphere, kind of like what I was saying earlier, it's nice for those guys to to have a team and stuff they can be around to not feel as alone. But that's not gonna no one's gonna judge your team off of that. They're gonna judge it off of wins and losses, and those games come once a week, and you got to put your plan together. You got to practice as hard as you can, and you got to get 48 guys out there on the field in uniform that are going to help you win. And like with injuries, you can't always count on everybody, whether it's an injury or whether it's something tragic that happened. You know, people are going to go through some stuff, and when that happens, we got to have another guy step it up.
Kyle, with how the defense has played, have you been pleased and satisfied with the way Nick Sorensen's been calling games?
Yeah, I'm very satisfied with Nick. I mean, I'm not at all satisfied with the results and how it's going right now, but you know, some of the mistakes that we've made, I don't think, or what's happened here in these last 2 weeks, I don't think that's a schematic issue. It's a little bit more of a fundamental issue, and that also starts with me. That goes to all coaching, and it goes down to the players. It goes to everyone in this building. So, but you know, the results here these last 2 weeks haven't changed my opinion on Nick.
Kyle, sorry, airport. It was already a pretty trying season for Christian before this. You know, he talked about the frustration. Have you had a chance to talk to him and just see where he is after the latest injury?
No, I haven't got a chance to talk to him. Just getting back, you know, 5:30 in the morning last night, and just getting all this stuff finished up here a little bit ago. And I know he's been getting his MRIs and everything, so I'll connect with him here this afternoon. But I know it's, you know, and I just feel for him. You know, you know, it was a real frustrating year for him. He worked his ass off to get back to this point, and I think he was really feeling good and about to take off, and just had that real unfortunate injury last night. So I know he's as crushed as anyone, but he'll get through this. He's a hell of a player, hell of a person, and an unbelievable 49er, and he'll be back stronger than ever next year to help us.
Will Brock Purdy be limited in practice this week, or is he full go?
No, Brock's full go. He didn't even come in for rehab today, so Brock's fine.
I'll take a couple more guys.
How did you feel Ben Barch played his first start with 49ers?
I was impressed by him. You know that, you know, I know he's got some ability. He's got a lot of ability and stuff, and we've enjoyed working with him here. But that was our first time going into a game with him, and I loved how he competed. I thought he blocked well. I thought he helped us in that game, so it was a good first start for him.
Kyle, you said last night this team isn't as good as I guess some of the others, which I guess by the record would be like, yeah. Did you mean from like a talent perspective? Do you mean when you consider all the injuries and who is out there right now, or just provide a little more context what you meant?
Well, I'm just answering a question that, you know, when I constantly get asked about, you know, I think I got asked, does this team not have the same fight as last year's team? And, you know, everything goes to the team the year before. And I was just trying to imply this isn't last year's team. And so you wanted a reason for why our record isn't as good as last year's. And when it's asked about fighting and stuff, that's, you know, I don't see that all that way. I was making the point that this isn't last year's team. Last year's team was obviously a better team. I'm not saying just from the roster. I'm just saying from the beginning to end, the way we started out, the way we felt in training camp, throughout the whole year. We've been trying to build that with this team. We've had times where we felt that we were on the right path to it. And then we've had some setbacks that I think it's always been one step forward, two steps back, and we really haven't grasped the full potential of this year's team, and that's why I don't like comparing it to last year's team or the year before.
Everybody, it's Matt Mayoko at NBC Sports Bay Area, checking in after my flight. Not exactly the most direct route home from Buffalo. I went from Buffalo to Charlotte, North Carolina, and then across the country to San Francisco, and that's where I'm at right now, still wearing the same jacket that I wore last night in Buffalo. Don't worry, I did get in late last night, or early this morning, I guess. Probably left the stadium around 2, got back to the hotel around 3, but I did shower. I'm fairly well rested. One of my talents in life Maybe my only talent is that I can sleep well in planes, so that's a good thing. Hey, yeah, so we got injury updates for Kyle Shanahan met with the local media. Didn't sound like there were too many people on that conference call. I wasn't on the conference call; I was in the air, but we'll provide all the updates, and they're not good ones. But I'm going to throw a little bit of a silver lining into those injury updates. But first, this video is brought to you by Canyon Club Brewery. Great brewery, restaurant, beer garden, all located in Moraga, California. A lot of different styles of beer, a lot of different kinds of food. So bring the family pet, and have a good time at Canyon Club. Also coming soon to the Livery in Danville, Canyon Club Brewery. Okay, so obviously the big one, Christian McCaffrey, and that is considered, it was in fact the posterior cruciate ligament in his right knee. He sustained that injury on the play before, or at least the touch before he went down, just kind of voluntarily. You could tell when you watch it at full speed, he wasn't running at all, and just went down and he slid. He knew something was immediately wrong with that. So the situation with McCaffrey is that he will be out for 6 weeks, and so they'll put him on IR. That shuts him down for the season. And so when I'm talking about the silver lining, there's another bad thing that happened, and that was kind of a surprise that came out of the game. Jordan Mason sustained a high ankle sprain, and so he's also going to be on injured reserve. And so the silver lining would be that theoretically, neither one of those injuries will spill into 2025. And when you think about where the 49ers are right now, they're not going anywhere. They're 5-7. Boy, they'll be lucky to win a couple of games. I think the rest of the season, the way their roster is comprised and just the way that this season has really gone downhill. So McCaffrey won't require surgery on his knee, the posterior cruciate ligament. And Jordan Mason won't require surgery on the high ankle sprain, but he will also go on IR. And I can't imagine, or it seems to me, probably not a great likelihood that they would bring him back for the last game or two of the season. So, well, if he goes on IR, I guess it'd only be one game because they played 12 games. You have to spend 4 games on IR. So would they bring him back for the last game of the season? I don't think so. So from here on out, it's the Isaac Guerendo show, and the 49ers do have another running back that they'll bring up in Patrick Taylor, and then they're going to go out and find somebody else to fill that roster spot, and to probably share the carries, or if they take the approach that I would suspect, it's going to be Isaac Guerendo until Isaac Guerendo can't go any further. And he's going to get a lot of playing time, going to get a lot of experience down the stretch here. And then the 49ers have to make a decision in the offseason with Jordan Mason. He is scheduled to be a restricted free agent. The 49ers last year tendered Juwan Jennings as a restricted free agent, and then they worked behind the scenes to sign him to a multi-year deal. And so that's what they did. They ended up signing Jennings to a good contract of 15 years, or $15 million over 2 years. A little bit more than 15 million. So that really bumped up his pay. The question with Mason is, would the 49ers give him a contract that would make him want to stick around for a couple more years? Or would Mason say, you know what, I'm going to play out this final year of the deal, and then I'll hit unrestricted free agency and kind of see what's out there, see if there might be a starting job out there. Because obviously, as long as Christian McCaffrey is around, there's not going to be a whole lot of touches for Jordan Mason. The talking point for a while has been to try to get Mason more involved, to try to get a backup running back more involved. But as we saw when Christian McCaffrey came back, it was basically all McCaffrey all the time. A lot of that had to do with the offense, though. Offense was stalling. There weren't a whole lot of plays to be had, and so therefore they just didn't see the necessity to take McCaffrey out of games, rest him for a series or anything like that. So we'll see if that changes next season. I would suspect it wouldn't. Also, Kevin Givens goes on injured reserve. He tore his pec in the game last night in Buffalo, and so he'll have surgery, and that's a pretty lengthy rehab. However, he should be available for the start of next season. Kevin Givens is somebody that the 49ers will have to consider whether they want to bring him back for another year. The rest of the injury updates are as follows. Aaron Banks and Jordan Elliott remain in the concussion protocol. Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles is day-to-day with his injury. Diamador Lenore should be back at practice on Wednesday. And then Nick Bosa and Trent Williams, they'll just kind of evaluate where this goes with those injuries that they had. Dre Greenlaw will continue to practice. Don't expect him to get elevated off of the injured reserve list, or actually be the PUP list this week. More than likely, if they're going to do it, they'll do it for the following game, the Thursday night game against the Rams. And then a little bit of a bright spot, Talanoa Hufanga. They plan on opening the practice window for him on Wednesday. And so they'll get him back on the field and see what he can do. When the 49ers got back from Buffalo, they reported, they got back, and a lot of guys came in for treatment on Monday. Brock Purdy did not go in for any treatment. So, as Kyle Shanahan said, that he will be a full go this coming week in practice. One of the things, I'll finish on. Let's do this now, since I mentioned Trent Williams. Just heartbreaking, some of the stuff that's happened with the 49ers. Obviously, Charvarius Ward losing his daughter right before her second birthday. And then Trent Williams' wife revealed that they lost both twins during the process of pregnancy, and the latest was recently, November 24th. And so that was something that Trent Williams was dealing with behind the scenes last week. And so he and his family are in that grieving process. Thoughts certainly go out to the Williams family as they cope with this. And as far as Trent goes, it sounds like, when he's ready to play, he'll be able to play. But in that ankle injury that he's had, the swelling just hasn't gone down sufficiently to enable him to get back out there on the field. But when he is cleared to practice, it sounds like he will. And the idea is to get him back on the field. One other thing. So I don't know if I talked about it on this channel at all, but Joshua Dobbs was the number 2 quarterback in the game on Sunday night. And on Blue Sky, I kind of opined that it was probably because of the potential weather conditions. And Kyle Shanahan said on Monday during his conference call that that's exactly right. So Dobbs kind of leapfrogged over Brandon Allen for this one day. Don't know if that's a permanent thing. It doesn't sound like it is. But what Shanahan said was because of the type of game that they thought it could be, looking at the weather forecast, they thought it might be more of a running game, and they wanted an element.
And the stuff from sorry about that. Yeah, Matt Miyoko discussing with the issue. It's just been bad, the worst. So, in case you missed it early in the day, Christian McCaffrey, both him and JP and Jordan Mason, both going to be going on IR. McCaffrey's the PCL sprain. That is at least 4 to 6 weeks. If this happened early in the year, at least 6 weeks. Mason end up got a high ankle or a high knee sprain. He will be going on IR. So looks like both are going to be shut down for the rest of this season. And then nothing more was compounded. That we had learned that, in case you met Trent Williams, who was already missing out of action with his ankle injury, and the swelling has not come down. So his status for this week is questionable. Could be upgraded to doubtful, whether he'll be able to go next Sunday against the Chicago Bears at home. And then not only that, it was also revealed that Trent Williams losing both of his twins, him and his wife, such a horrible thing. And we talk about that, and he had to cremate both of them. And like I said, our thoughts and prayers go out to him. They already had Travis Ward losing his daughter, who was about to turn 2, had heart problems. Such a sad thing. We talk about this during this now. We're in the as we begin this first full week of the holiday season, as the calendar, the second day of December, and so much has happened comparing to what happened a year ago. And that just shows a lot of things going foul for the 49ers this year with the injuries. Players just, that Super Bowl hangover loss, losing the heartbreaker, and then Dre Greenlaw, he's still on the physical unable to perform list. He's gonna be. We'll see what happens this week. He probably will be activated, should be activated, ready to go 1 week from this, from 1 week from next Thursday, when the Niners will play the Rams on Thursday Night Football. And that's just one of those things. Every year it can't translate to the same results like last year. It was this time a year ago. Last year the Niners were playing the Philadelphia Eagles and making that run towards the top seed. And look what a year makes, though, Ed. So we're also gonna so Isaac Guerando and Patrick Taylor are gonna be moving up as the starters, and then Niners will be out there shopping to see if they could get another running back off the street this coming week. It's just been piling up with injuries, and it's a tough time to be a 49er fan. So but when we come back, we are going to take a look back of 1984 49ers and Falcons from week number 14, and we'll recap that game, and then we'll look around week 14 of the NFL scoreboard and so much more. Professor B here. You're watching 49ers Monday Night Live, the aftermath with Professor B on Niners Radio 49. Let's take this time out. All right. Well, sorry. We apologize for the technical difficulties. We're back on the air. So we are going to take this time out and we're going to show you the 49ers Falcons from week number 14 from 1984. We'll be right back. We'll show it to you in just a few moments. All right, we're getting ready to show you the highlights from the 1984 49ers and Falcons. We're going to show you also the highlights from that from the year 1984. This was a Week 14 game. The Niners taking on the Falcons from December 2nd, 1984, against the Atlanta Falcons at the old launching pad, Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. So we're going to, without further ado, we're going to show you that highlight film right now, and hope you enjoy. This is courtesy of NFL Films. So enjoy this segment.
Riding a 7-game losing streak, Atlanta head coach Dan Henning has looked long and hard for a silver lining in a dark cloud of a season. A little sun did burst through, though, when the Falcons' Alfred Jackson caught a personal best 11 catches for 193 yards and a touchdown against the visiting 49ers. But Jackson's individual sparkle was tarnished by the balanced efficiency of the San Francisco attack. Joe Montana passed for just 165 yards. The 2 first-half heaves wound up in the end zone, one to Dwight Clark, number 87. The 49er defense was equally productive, forcing 6 turnovers and scoring 2 touchdowns of their own. One occurred when Gary Johnson rumbled 33 yards with a Falcon fumble for a touchdown that helped hand Atlanta their 8th straight defeat, and up the 49ers' record to a league-best 13-1. The smile that Richard Todd flashed prior to the Saints meeting with the Rams vanished in a sea of royal blue and gold once the game got underway. Todd completed 1 pass, was sacked 4 times.
All right, that was another Niner Radio 49 flashback. That video courtesy of NFL Films. Niners continue to take care of business against the struggling Atlanta Falcons. And this game, of course, this was an important game for the 49ers, December 2nd, 1984. Niners and the Falcons. And playing this game down in Atlanta, down in at Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta. As it was from Sunday, December 2nd, 1984. Game time was at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The game was seen So the Niners hand the Falcons their eighth straight loss, and which way, by the way, the victory for the 49ers, all intents and purposes, they clinched the best record in the NFC, and that's with their victory. They have assured themselves home field advantage throughout the entire NFC playoffs. They also, not only that, meaning they're going to have home field throughout the playoffs. They will be doing no more traveling outside the Bay Area, meaning the Niners did what they had to do. They won their division. That was the first step. Assured themselves of guaranteeing the hosting a playoff game. Then they took care of business against the Falcons, even though the Falcons outplayed them. And the score was much closer than the 35-17 score would indicate. They beat the Falcons. And then now they clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs with only 2 games left to play. And the Niners, with their victory, improved to 13-1. They now hold the best record in all of football. 7 in a row. They've won 13 out of 14 overall up to this point. And the Niners beat the Falcons twice. They've beaten the Saints twice. So now what's left for the 49ers with 2 weeks? And then they also set a new standard. They win 13. They pick up their 13th win of the season, which, by the way, that tie in great position to really, with that home field advantage, they're going to have home field throughout the playoffs. As long as they keep winning, the road to Palo Alto goes through the 49ers only 25 minutes from Candlestick Park. And all the Niners got to do is keep on winning, and they'll have meet their date with destiny, the play in Super Bowl 19 in Palo Alto, about 25 minutes south to a half hour, depending on traffic, in San Francisco. So they taking care of business. Falcon team struggling, playing out the schedule, preparing for being home for the holidays, and while the Niners continue to build their momentum, as they right now own the best record in the all of football. So now we look at some other games. From week number 14, and we are going to so we're going to show you some more footage, but here on Niners Radio 49, as we'll take a look at the 1984 Week 14 scoreboard as well. So we can take a look down to week number 14 of the NFL season, the 1984 season. Take a look around the scoreboard from week 14. Yeah. Something is not right with our volume. We apologize for that. We're gonna Here we go. So we're gonna try to finish it strong with this one. Well, so with the now with the loss, the 49ers now, or with the win, the Niners continue to take care of business, and they are just, you know, they end up winning back-to-back division games. They won the division the previous week against the Saints. Now they, with the win over the Falcons, they clinched the number one seed. They'll have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They got their 13th win of the season. That ties the franchise record for most wins in a single season. Of course, the 1981 49ers went 13-3, but the Niners want. They just don't want to be. Like, they know they got more work ahead of them because they know they're not done yet, and they're just trying to set a new standard every time out. Even with 2 games left to play, hey, these guys are playing to win. They're trying to get themselves sharp, ready to go for the playoffs. They're trying to set a standard to do something that no team in the NFL have done the following week. That they're trying to set all kinds of records, taking care of business, peaking at the right time. Everybody, that the Niners want to have that home field advantage, what they got. They have it run through Candlestick all the way, hopefully, to Palo Alto down at Stanford Stadium, where they get to just, they'll be going home scot-free. So the Niners coming in now, 13-1, now with the best record in the NFL. Joe Montana, the NFC top leading passer in quarterback rating. And the Miami Dolphins, who kind of, lost 2 out of 3 after 2 of 3 since starting 11-0, trying to, and it looks like the Killer Bee defense is starting to get exposed, and we will all know what happened in about a month and a half later in January of '85 when the Niners played the Dolphins in Super Bowl 19. We'll talk about that in January. But in the present, the Niners taking care of business, 13-1, best record in all of football, and then with the best record in football as they're getting themselves ready for postseason. The Dolphins floundering a little bit. Now they know that they got to win their final 2 games to clinch home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. So, look like at this point, as we're in 13 weeks into the 1984 regular season, looks like the Niners and Dolphins are on a collision course to meet in Super Bowl 19. Well, that's going to do it for tonight for 49ers Monday Night Live, the aftermath. We covered everything, the injury situation, and then the horrible death of Trent Williams' 2 twins. It's such a sad thing, and as we begin this first full week of this holiday season, that just comes to show you that you can never take nothing for granted. I know a lot of people who have lost loved ones, have lost parents, or somebody during this time of the year. Just like I always think about a nice friend who I get to run into during the summertime when I'm doing my run, and I'm not going to mention her name or anything. I want to keep that anonymous, but I like to keep it anonymous. But she lost her dad to cancer, and I always think about, you have to count your blessings and love each other, because this is a tough time for the Niner family. 2 players have lost kids through a horrible ordeal that no parent, no child should go through. I have known, my sympathies they're going through all the injuries, and just, the loss, that devastating loss in the Super Bowl some nearly almost 10 months ago, back in early mid-February. And, you look where the year was when the Niners, everything went their way last year with not that many injuries, and this year was no exception. And, the Niners are just, just trying to hang in there and try to finish the season on a positive note. And it looks pretty bleak. But we like to thank you for watching Niners Radio 49 tonight, 49ers Monday Night Live. Just a reminder coming up, we'll be back at tomorrow as well. We do 49ers Live tonight, as we'll give you the latest on the 49ers news, updates, and so much more. And then tomorrow we'll take a look back of week number 13, Niners taking on the we're looking at tomorrow night, probably around 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow. I'll post something up probably, if not tonight, sometime in the morning when I'm going to go on. But we'll look back of the 49ers' 35-year anniversary of when they, of course, won back-to-back Super Bowls. We'll look at week number 13 as they also travel down south to Atlanta to take on the Atlanta Falcons for a divisional game as they maintain a 2-game lead over the Rams for the top spot in the NFC West. And more importantly, they own a 1-game lead over the New York Giants for the overall top spot in the conference as the Niners trying to get that home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs as the road to New Orleans that they're trying to they're on a mission to try to repeat as Super Bowl champs. And then later in the week we'll take a look back in another game. It's just kind of like from week number Week 14, 49ers taking on the Atlanta Falcons out at Candlestick Park. This was the 30-year anniversary of their last Super Bowl winning team. And, it's pretty much all Niners versus Falcons. And each time we look back at these games, we'll give you updates of the scores from those years as well. So we'd like to thank you all for watching tonight. I'm getting ready to call it a wrap. Thank you for watching. Later in the week, we'll hopefully get somebody from Chicago Bears. We'll preview the 49ers and Chicago Bears. We'll talk about what happened with their head coach who got fired for the boneheaded play calling last Thursday on Thanksgiving. And we'll try to have some open lines as well. Latest news on 49ers news and so much more. Go to 49ers.com. Check out all the latest news. And check us out, youtube.com/@NinersRadio49. Please don't forget please click the subscribe button. Our mission is trying to get 1,000 subscribers. We're already getting close towards 200, so we still got a long way to go. We're trying to push this thing hard, try to get people to come and as I continue to build this platform. So thank you for watching tonight. 49ers Monday Night Live, The Aftermath, is a presentation of Niners Radio 49 in association with the Satellite Digital Media News Network, where every team is a fan and every fan is a voice. The network, home of champions. Professor B signing off. So long, and wish all of you a very good night, everybody. Take care.